When you're out in the world, life rushes by, a constant race against time, each moment blending into the next. But inside prison, life slows to an entirely different pace. The silence between the chaos allows you to notice the subtleties and nuances that the outside world drowns out. This story is about one of those moments. On my very first day in prison, we were lined up in the courtyard for orientation. The heat bore down relentlessly, and the sharp smell of disinfectant clung to the air. As I stood there, trying to absorb the strange new reality, I noticed an old man with a disheveled beard and wild, unkempt hair. His clothes hung off him like tattered rags, and his eyes darted around, sparkling with an intensity that was hard to read. He muttered under his breath, his lips moving as if in conversation with someone invisible. But what unnerved me most was his smile. It lingered too long, making me shift uncomfortably. "That's Farooq," someone whispered behind me, their voice tinged with disdain. "Batshit crazy, been here 13 years, should have been sent to an asylum." I tried to look away, but his gaze seemed to follow me as though he was trying to see something others couldn't. Later, I was assigned to my barracks, and to my surprise, Farooq was there too. His eccentricities became impossible to ignore. He'd pace up and down, muttering unintelligibly, sometimes stopping mid-stride to stare at the ceiling, as if receiving divine messages. He hoarded scraps of paper and bits of charcoal, clutching them like precious treasures. At night, he'd hum unfamiliar tunes, his voice low and haunting. Most of the other prisoners avoided him. Some mocked him openly, calling him names or imitating his mutterings, but to me, there was something else beneath his peculiarities. He didn't seem crazy, he seemed lost. Yet at the same time, there was an inexplicable calm about him, like he had found a peace that eludes most people. Every Sunday, I noticed him sitting alone in a quiet corner of the barracks, hunched over scraps of paper. The dim light from the single bulb above cast long shadows, highlighting his focused expression as he scribbled furiously. As someone who loved writing myself, my curiosity grew. After a few weeks, I finally asked him about it. He looked up, startled at first, his eyes darting around before settling on me. Then a faint, crooked smile appeared on his lips. "When they arrested me," he began, his voice steady but carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken sorrows, "my boy was only 5. Just a little thing. My wife, she left me not long after, married someone else, took my son with her. Now he's 18, a grown man. And me? To him, I'm nothing but a shadow, a stranger. He doesn't even want to admit I exist." I nodded, unsure of what to say, and he continued, his words tumbling out as if they'd been bottled up for years. "I write these letters to him to bridge the gap, to fix what's broken, to tell him everything I never could, not when it mattered." I hesitated before asking softly, "Does he ever write back? When you send them?" He froze for a moment, the paper in his hands trembling. Then, with a faint, almost bitter laugh, he said, "I don't send them. I can't." At first I thought it was because he couldn't afford the postage. I told him, "In a few months I'll be released. If you'd like, you can give the letters to me and I'll make sure they reach your son." For the first time his face lit up. His eyes sparkled with hope as he nodded eagerly. Months passed and the day of my release arrived. I went to Farooq to collect the letters, ready to fulfill my promise, but when I approached him, his expression changed. The hope I had seen in his eyes before was now replaced with hesitation. He shook his head slowly, and what he said next shook me to my core. "I'm terrified of what he might say," he confessed, his voice trembling as he stared at the paper in his hands. "There are too many ways it could go wrong, too many ways he could push me away. So I never send them. I just keep writing. Because when I write, it feels like we're together, like he's sitting right here listening, and for those moments, he's here with me." Tears welled up in his eyes, and I felt my own vision blur. I understood him in that moment, his fear, his longing, his fragile hope. Writing was his way of holding on to hope without risking heartbreak. It was a fragile lifeline, but it was his. I hugged him tightly before I left. I never saw him again, but his words stayed with me. Farooq wasn't crazy. He had found a way to bridge the unbearable distance between himself and his son, even if only in his imagination. His letters were his silent conversations with a son who might never listen, but who in his heart was always there with him. Farooq taught me something. Sometimes the only way to hold on to love is to keep it alive in our hearts, even if reality doesn't recognize it. Thank you for watching aikdastaan, where every tale is a testament to the human spirit and every voice resonates with the truth as they perceive it.